Hi everyone, welcome to Sunday Runday. I'm Brett from Queensland, and today we've got a special edition of Sunday Runday. We're 6 days out from the Blackall 100. We finally made it here, and today I'm joined by co-race director and one of my mates, Gavin Jackson. G'day mate.
Hey mate, how are ya?
Good mate, and I know you can't show us, but your kind of house where you're living is looking across to the bluff, so...
I'd be able to do a bit of a view of the bluff. That's the bluff over the back of that.
Fantastic. And with your few changes to the course, well, with the few changes we got to the course this year, you can't get enough of the bluff. So thanks for that one, mate. We really appreciate it.
It's spectacular up there.
Oh, it's fantastic. Mate, look, I thought what we'd do is just go through the event, what it's going to look like for everyone, and just talk through some of the distances and how that's going to operate. It'll give people a bit of an insight of where we're at. Obviously, we'll have already sent out bib numbers and stuff like that. So anyway, mate, I thought firstly what we'd talk about is we've got a COVID safe plan that's been approved by the government, so that we might talk about those changes for the runners, and especially I think the spectators. I think that's a big thing for us, is to let people know all about that. So, want to kick that off?
Sure. Okay, so first of all, with the spectators and the COVID safe thing, everything's in place. We have so much space there. There's plenty of space for people to move around. And really everyone's just got to observe, the 1.5 metre rule and, just have a little bit of patience with everyone. There's plenty of space at the finish line to see your runners. The checkpoints, in previous years they were a bit congested, but the way we've changed the course, that sort of eliminated that. The toilets and things like that, there's all the things like hand sanitizer and all of that sort of thing. For the spectators that aren't running in the event or aren't staying at QCCC, they will be required to sign a register at the front gate.
Can we just make a really good point about that? What we're asking is for everyone that comes into the QCCC on the Friday night for the sign-on or the welcome during the weekend, if they could sign that register, please. It's part of QCCC's policies as well. So we want them to sign that piece of paper for us. Just write it in. Runners don't need to do that because we've got you recorded by virtue of entry. So that's really
correct,
important.
Yeah, so that's really the only important thing part of that. There's extra toilets there for people to use. They don't have to be going into bedrooms and things like that as well.
Yes, the other thing too, mate, to let people know is that the welcome to country and sign on will be, if you've been to the QCCC before, will be at the front of the complex there. A lot of it will be on the grass, so there's a mile of space there. So we're asking everyone to observe the social distance, the sanitisers going in and out of toilets, etc. There'll be that all around the course. Yep. The sign-on will be at the tennis courts, which is over near the pools for anyone that knows it. So predominantly there will be some pasta and stuff like that sale on the night. I think there's maybe some pizzas and soft drinks and stuff like that. Being live music on the fields, but again, we're asking everyone to observe the social distancing. It's really important that we do this. It's part of our plan, and we're asking everyone to play with us around that.
Okay.
All right, Gab. So can we just, I thought we'd just break the races down and give a little bit of information about each event so that we can, give each person a bit of a look at how it's going to play out. I suppose the other thing we should do first, though, mate, is talk about the itinerary. The itinerary for the weekend. I want to run through that, just the schedule, so everyone's aware of what's happening in regards to bib pickup, welcomes, start of races and stuff like that.
Okay, that's fairly easy. So Friday, 3:30, from 3:30 on will be sign on, and as Brett said, it'll be on the field, onto the right-hand side of QCCC when you go in. And the accommodation for people that are staying there, they can collect their accommodation there. The race brief and welcome will be in that same area at 7 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And that'll just continue until Uncle Al's done with the sing there. So that's fairly simple, that part of it. It's no one walking through QCCC that doesn't have to. They're all there. Saturday morning, 5:30 a.m. will be the bus loading for the 21K competitors. The 21K will be loaded at the Mapleton State School on Flaxton Road. There's a map on the website for that. It's probably 400 or 500 metres from QCCC. There'll also be marshals on out on at that time of the morning directing you to there from the car parking area. From the actual car park area, it's probably only about 200 metres.
Yeah, and to let people know, I think that a couple of the coffee shops are open and early, made up in Mapleton too. So you can walk around via the pub if you want to grab a cup of coffee on the way out there. There'll be toilets too out at Broom Pocket. Yeah,
so the buses will be leaving there at 5:30 to take all the runners out there. That's a full field of 150, and that race will kick off at 7 a.m. Brett will actually be down there to start that off, and it's basically runs from Baroon Pocket up to Condalilla on the Great Walk right through to Baxter Creek and back to QCCC. Those maps again and the KML files are on the website. It's easy enough to download those onto your phone. The course is going to be marked so well that you won't get lost anyway. Saturday morning still, 6 o'clock will be the normal time for the 100K start, and they will do the normal start out the front gate, along the road, through the lane closure and to Condalilla.
Yeah.
7 o'clock, 7 a.m. at QCCC, as well as the one at Baroon starting. There will also be the 50K starting at QCCC, and that is the course as per website. The 21K course, just quickly go through that. Like I said, go to Condalilla, then up to checkpoint there. That's at about 10.5 kilometres, and then follow the course marking back to QCCC to finish in a couple of hours. And the 100K course, the first part is all the same. It's just a slight difference at Condalilla. You would just be going in a slight different direction when you cross the little bridge for those people that already know it. But again, follow the marshals and the course marking. It's fairly easy. It's just making it flow really easily around there and then back out. Should we tell them about the extra course changes, or should we just?
Well, the one thing I'll say, the course is so well marked. To literally sort of say that the 50K and the 100K, we've added in an extra, basically 4Ks in that first 50K to get rid of that loop pay. And I think the big thing for people to know is when you're in the 50K, when you get to checkpoint 4, you're only going there once. If you've done the race before and you're heading home and you're only going to have 8.5K. Now, that's the reason we had a few people asking about drop bags. The reason we don't have drop bags at 4 is it's not a very big checkpoint to start with, and it's only 8Ks to home. There's enough food and stuff like that on the checkpoints for people to get home with. And that's purely what it is. So
correct.
That's the big change. So those 50Ks just need to be aware. There's no loop anymore if you've done the event before. But don't despair. Gav's added more hills in for you anyway. So,
So checkpoint 3, which is now moved out to Sam Kelly Road, which is where pretty much most people park to go into the checkpoint. So it's right there at the cattle grid, so no one will actually have to walk into the national park. There would be a small creek crossing there, but there's no water in it at the moment. But again, that's where there's a slight course change, but it's not that difficult. From checkpoint 3, once they get to the top of the bluff, we've added in a little extra loop, and instead of going straight to Thilba, you will actually do this loop and end up on Delicia Road, where that water station and aid station will be for food. Not for food, for water and electrolyte, and probably a little bit of watermelon.
Yeah,
that's it.
Don't count on that as a full checkpoint. It's not.
It's definitely not a full checkpoint.
No, it's
water
not.
Electrolyte.
Electrolyte. I think we would strongly recommend when you get to checkpoint 3 is to get some water, because it's approximately 8 kilometres now from 3 up to the water station. and it's a long effort, that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So, and as Brett said, once you get back to checkpoint 4 for the 50Kers, 8K to the finish through Mapleton Falls, which is the same part of the course it's always been from there. The 100Kers, of course, they go down to Kalulabin Dam, checkpoint 5. It's actually moved just up the road a little bit to the day use area. We have a much better area there for people. There's no traffic can get jammed in there. And the checkpoint is basically you go in one side and out the other. When you exit that checkpoint, you go through a little bit of single trail, and then you actually run along the top of the dam wall, which is previously we ran along the road. So we're not doing that. But again, course will be marked well. There'll be marshals everywhere to direct you along there, and then you're back on the course round the loop. When you get to the top of that road, normally, previously we'd come back to the checkpoint 5. We don't do that anymore. We'll have a water station at the top there for water and electrolyte again. And from there, it's about 7.5K up to checkpoint 4, up on the normal Mapleton Forest Road. So we've just taken out all those congested areas and made it flow.
One of the things too, mate, if we could just mention that after the checkpoint 6, we do go back into single track with about 2.5 kilometres now back to the Mapleton day use area. So we're going in a lot earlier than what we used to. So it's just keep an eye out. It's not too far after the gear change hill, is it?
Yeah, it's just past the gear change hill. There'll be a right turn, and it'll have a big sign there to direct you in there. And you basically you're just running along next to the road on the trail, which is actually better than the road. The road's a bit rough.
Oh, there's no doubt the changes to the course have made it much more picturesque. I mean, that dam loop now is unreal. It's changed the whole perspective of that event. It's probably become one of the highlights of the 100K for me. I went around it the other week and stunning.
Yeah,
mate. It's a great change, and it makes it safer. The other thing I would ask too is any of the vehicles that are going out to 5, don't drive past the dam day use area. There's no vehicle access between the dam day use area and checkpoint 4, which is Mapleton Forest Road. There's too many runners on it, and we're asking you to observe that. It's in the Spectator information, and we will, if we find out there's disqualifications can happen for runners, and we would just about have to enforce that now, Gav. It's so important to keep that road as free as we can. There's a little bit of public use, but it doesn't get overly used. Don't go that way. There's directions on how to get to the checkpoints on the website. Just go to the website if you're unsure. There's information everywhere.
It's actually better to follow the directions we've written there rather than put it in your GPS. Your GPS will try and take you down that rough road. Many cars won't make it down there anyway, let alone, because it's so rough. Just if you follow those directions, they're very clear. It takes about 28 minutes to drive from Mapleton to the checkpoint. So unless your run is really fast.
Just on the 28 minutes, on the 28 minutes, what were your splits for that though? Sorry, had to be added in. Sorry. No,
that's my split. About 3-minute Ks.
Oh, good. Mate, so I thought then we could just go through to now. So basically, with our checkpoints, if we can go to those because they're going to be a little bit different this year. So, as everyone asked about the food and that was one of the big things. But basically, yes, we're going to have the same sort of food that we've always had. There'll be your chocolate slices, your bikini slice, there'll be sandwiches, there'll be potato, there'll be chips, there'll be lollies, watermelon, etc. The difference will be where the runners are not allowed to grab the food off the table. The checkpoint crews there will be with tongs, and they will tong them in your hand. What we're asking for is the runners to have a little bit of patience. If you can't wait, you're probably going to be better off bringing your own. But there's going to be plenty of stuff there. You'll need your own cups. There's going to be the Coke and Red Bull and all that kind of stuff on course. But what we're asking is for some patience and to observe that. The runners you won't be able to touch the water taps that are on the tanks that we have there. We'll have people on those tanks You can open your bottles up and everything like that. We'll be the ones touching it because we can use the sanitizer and all that stuff to meet all the obligations that are in our plan. Have you got anything to add to that, mate?
That's pretty much it, mate. They just be a little bit patient. The crews, they're going to have plenty of people there to serve you. And yeah, just take a breather and it'll all happen, you know. When you come into the checkpoint, any of those checkpoints, just sort of be aware where you're going after that. The guys will direct you, but just make sure that you know where you're going. And if you're not sure, ask one of the marshals that are there. They'll probably have a vest on, so you'll be able to see. You know, if you're not sure, don't just go running off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that the food will go very well. So yeah, there's nothing to worry about there. You know.
Yeah, and we've covered all that with the plan. We've got it all approved and made sure that we're following all the protocol that we need to do, which we have.
Yeah.
So that's really good. So that's pretty much the checkpoints. What about the? We might as well go through some course markings. We'll obviously do that again.
Oh yeah.
Next Friday.
Yeah.
So you want to start?
So pretty much the course is going to be marked in our orange ribbon with the reflector on it.
Yep.
That'll be every 300 meters or so. I didn't measure everyone exactly 300 meters, but in some places there's obviously nowhere you can go, so they might, if they're 310 meters, don't get upset.
But some of the single trail there, it might go a fraction longer, but I would suggest if you haven't seen, take for about if you're back, towards the back, probably 15 minutes or so, maybe have a bit of a think. There's loads of tape. If you get to an intersection, take your time and have a look. There's arrows and crosses everywhere. Take your time if you're not sure. So, there we go.
If you see one of these, that just means don't go down there. We'll put those on where there's any intersections where we don't want you to go, so you stop.
Yeah.
And people do run past them because they're talking or not thinking. And this obviously means you go that way.
That looks
follow
like
the
a
arrow.
right turn to me. That looks like a right turn on the screen to me. That's a bit of a left. Yeah, I can work out to go left there.
Yeah. So it's pretty much the same course marking we've used for the last 4 or 5 years. And there'll be more of it. There'll be some bigger signs where there's clear, where the new parts of the trail are. There'll be some bigger signs there, and there'll be, plenty of good direction there. I don't know if we've ever had anyone actually lost on our course, but...
Well, we've had people miss turns, I know that, but I mean, that's trail running, it happens, but, we mark pretty heavily.
If you do get lost out on the trail or you think you're lost, on the back of the bib, there's 4 phone numbers that you can ring, and we should be able to help you out there, and same as if you're injured or not feeling so good, if you just give us a call and we can sort you from there.
So, mate, the other bit of marking that we probably need to let people know about is for the 100K runners, that they're actually going to get marked when they're going into checkpoint 5 or at checkpoint 5. Going to be getting a wristband put on. They'll be getting a wristband put on their arm by the crew there, the checkpoint crew, and that will be something they have to get on. And that's going to be so that when they get back to checkpoint 4, we know that they're heading to the finish line, because it can be a lot of crossover there at checkpoint 4 between the 50 and the 100. So you will get a wristband on at checkpoint 5, ensure that you got it. Those guys with the nutters will make sure you got it on. So when you get back to the BTR guys at 4, they know to send you to the finish line. You'll have 8Ks to go when you get there.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, that's all good. I guess one of the other things we should talk about is mandatory gear.
Mandatory gear,
It's always a dilemma with everyone. We probably have, compared to some races down south where it gets very cold, we don't have to carry all that gear. We may, if there was a cold front came in, we may say that you need to take that, but more than likely not. So our mandatory gear on the website again for the 21K. Capacity for 1 litre of water, mobile phone, your bib, obviously, and we like you to wear your bib at the front, so all the things can pick it up easier. And And a snake bandage. Adele just reminded me. A compression bandage in case you do get bitten by a snake. If you're not sure how to use that, also on the website, there's a little bit of if you go to the emergency thing, it'll actually show you how to use it. Put a snake bandage on. Again, you would also call someone, or if you can't call someone, there'll be a runner or a sweeper close by to you that will be able to assist you there.
The other thing too, mate, is that race bib really needs to be on the front. It really helps with the reading of the system that we use. So it's really important if you're watching this to make sure that you keep your bib on the front. We really need that. It makes life a lot easier. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
So
in the 50K, I'll go through all the mandatory gear. It's pretty easy. So in the 50K, it's pretty much as on the website. After 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you have to have your light and your vest with you. And the reason for this is that many of the 50Ks finish way before 3 o'clock, so they don't have to carry it the whole way. But I would suggest that if you're going to take longer than that time, to carry it with you. A light and a vest don't weigh very much, so just stick it in your bag or pick it up at checkpoint 3 if you wish. The 100Kers, all the listed mandatory gear carried the whole way, because there's only about 3 or 4 that actually finish in daylight anyway. So
yeah, and that's all on the website.
It's all on the website. So you've actually, everyone I think has signed, ticked the waiver that they've read the mandatory gear. So it's nothing new. It's just on there.
Yeah, and it's not very much anyway. Right, mate.
Yeah,
so
mate.
we put a question up on the discussion page asking if there was any questions that you wanted answered. So we've got a few of those there. So I'll go first, mate, with the shirt. So we've been able to go with a local company, which we're really happy with. That's on the Sunshine Coast. And it's not going to be a sublimated shirt like normal. We're going with a organic black tee. Yeah, we're really happy with what we've got there, and so you'll find out Friday night. They're pretty cool.
And what colour is it? Is it green or red or black or purple?
Well, it's not. Well, Dave Elms wanted orange. Ain't gonna happen. So
yeah,
it's a really nice black tee. It's actually one that I would probably wear with a pair of jeans this time. So it's not as leery.
Yeah,
anyway. It's cool.
Yeah, that's very good.
What else have we got there, mate? With questions.
There was a question about wave starts.
Oh, yeah, okay. Do you want me to go into that one?
Yeah, well, you're the expert on that. There isn't any.
There aren't any wave starts. We're going to ask for people to distance themselves at the start. Everyone will be on the field of play. We will have our little start zones that we had last year. We're going to ask people to go into those. So we're going to have the infinite speed zone again. We'll have the polar flow zone. And we'll have the Sunshine Coast start zone. Now, we'll mess around with the times for that we kind of feel that we can split most of the field up in. It worked beautifully last year, and we've basically got the same amount of people in the 50K. We've got more in the 100 this year. So we will be doing that. And there's plenty of space at the QCCC for that. Again, all approved. So we're really happy with how we've been able to do that. We've tried to keep it as normal as possible. So next one, mate, what have we got?
I think there was a question there from Drew, actually, asked about the 500 Club, if it was still going to go forever. I guess it is, because, if you keep clocking up 500, you'll get recognised. This year, we actually have 7 contenders for the 500 Club. I'm not going to list them. You'll find out who they are. And, but there's seven up. And, so pretty good. And there's actually three guys that will be their 7th year and their 700 kilometre one.
Yeah, but isn't there also a few people have done all 750s as well, I think, or a mix of...
Yeah, there's 2 other people that have actually been every year. So this will be their 7th year, but one of them's only ever done 50s. So, that's a great effort coming back every year and doing it. And he would have definitely seen a few different courses on the 50. That's the course that's changed the most, I guess. Yeah. And and a lady too as well. And yeah, so there's going to be some interesting people out there this year.
Oh yeah, I think look, there's a lot of people in the event. I've got to say, when we first started this thing, it's 12 months of work, really. What we do. But all these wonderful volunteers that have come, we've got so many guys that are just helping out again this year. If you look back about 6 or 7 months ago, I remember being in complete despair, thinking, well, what are we going to do, And, we've had a lot of internationals drop out, a lot of interstate runners drop out, which is a bit sad. I mean, I've been talking with a lot of those guys throughout the year. And, unfortunately, we won't get to see them. I mean, Lucy couldn't get here, but she'll come next year. It's just to be able to go and start this thing next Saturday. I think it's just such a huge thing. And for everyone to back it and believe in it and want to come to it, for me, just makes it feel so special this year. I just can't wait to be with everyone and enjoy the moment that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be good. The weather forecast looks like it's going to be fairly good for people. I don't think it's going to be overly hot, so they should better get out there and have a good crack at it.
Yeah, well, mate, I don't know if we've got too much more to cover. What are your thoughts? Do you feel like we've covered most stuff, or we've got a bit more?
I think that's it, really. It's just the spectators just follow the rules. It's not that hard. Just consider everyone else while you're there, I guess.
Oh, look, if we can sort of follow these kind of basic policies and
just got to follow what.
Yeah, what's been put out there by the government. I think we'll have a safe event and a fun event, and everyone will have a good time. I think at the end of the day, that's what we're bringing to the event again. And I'm looking forward to it, mate. I can't wait to get out there. I mean, I know we've been up and down in Mapleton for the last few weeks already, so I think it's just about ready to go. We're really grateful to have all of you guys back the event, and we can't wait to watch you ring the bell. In 6 days. Have a nice talk to your quads, sort them out. Any problems with the event, just refer to Gavin. You've got his face there now. No problems at all.
Yeah, no, there won't be any problems. But like I say, all the information's on the website. You just got to look at it. It's there if you're really not sure. Rather than stick it on Facebook or something like that, because we miss a lot of that stuff, it's probably easier just to email us at info@runqueensland. If there's something pressing that you really, but really all the information's on the website. It's easy to follow.
Yeah, mate. All I'll need to do is bring their legs, follow orange tags, get back, ring a bell, grab a bell, and enjoy the day, mate. That's about it.
Okay, mate.
So easy.
So easy.
All right, mate. We'll see how we go. We'll put this out there, and we wish everyone the best of luck, and we'll see you next Friday. Enjoy your taper. We can't wait to see you there. See you later, Jacko.
See you, mate. Talk to you soon.
Bye.